Hey guys, man, I love what God is doing in our church family. There's just something about watching a body mature that is exciting. I think about where Paul said to, I think it was the Galatians he wrote to, and he said, I am in labor until I see Christ formed in you. And I think that's an awesome way to express what pastors feel, what leaders feel about their flock, the people that God has entrusted to them. The way I feel about us at the gathering is, yeah, it's work. Like there's a lot of things that are hard to do sometimes. And this series has proven to be one of those where we're talking about some really hard things, some moments where the Holy Spirit shines a light on our hearts, and we suddenly realize, oh, crud, I'm exposed, I'm busted. But I'm watching y'all and me, I'm watching all of us lean into that place and not be afraid of it, right? To say, okay, I'm busted, but I know it's because you want more from me. You want to heal me. You want me to be full of joy and have life and hope and prosperity in all the right ways, right? Not the way that it's been tainted by people who think if you could just blab it and grab it, or if you can just name it and claim it, or if you can just give it, you'll get it back. That's not what I'm talking about at all. There's something so much deeper. And yesterday, Pastor Bridget just did a fantastic job of kind of highlighting that, right? We've been talking about not tipping the king, and that we need to have our hearts fully invested so that we can live in these spiritual disciplines and rhythms. But man, yesterday when she was talking about that king that just half-heartedly struck the ground, shot arrows, the Holy Spirit really started driving home, like, gathering family, this is a heart issue, and not just a heart issue, but a heart issue because there are still spiritual battles that we're called to fight and win. And that's what I wanted to leave you with today in this episode of the What I Wish I'd Said podcast. I just want to reiterate what Pastor Bridget said yesterday, and that is this: the war is over, y'all. Satan is defeated. I was thinking about that song that Josh Baldwin sings. If you've not heard it, it's called "The War's Over." It's a great song, and there's so much hope in that song, right? Like we can rest in the fact that He has won the war. But the war might be over, but the battle still rages, and that can sound like a dichotomy. Like, how can both be true? And we say all the time, it's not an either or faith; it's both and. So there's some tension there, right? Like, wait, Jesus, I thought you defeated the enemy. So if you defeated him, why do I feel like he's attacking me? It's because I say all the time, the enemy's defeated, but the enemy's not done, right? James 4:7 says this: submit yourselves then to God. And that was a big part of what Pastor Bridget talked about yesterday. That's why it felt so heavy. And why I think a lot of us just kind of sat there like, oh, this is a lot to chew on. It's because when we talk about submitting to God first, that's got to be the first step. And the next 2 weeks, as we wrap this series up, that's what I'm going to be highlighting, right? We'll keep coming back to that theme. He must be first. We must submit to Him first. And if we don't do that, y'all, we got no shot at resisting the enemy. Even though Satan defeated him at the cross, even though he's defeated because he's not yet done, because he's still trying to take out as many people as he possibly can with him, if we don't submit to Jesus first, we've got no shot. That's the first step. But after we submit him, there is still something to be done. He says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. And I want to highlight the word resist today for you. It is an intentional word. It is literally in the Bible, it's used sometimes as two people that oppose one another. And if you've ever gotten into an argument, opposition with somebody, it's not haphazard. It's not half-hearted like Pastor Bridget talked about yesterday. It is intentional. Like, I am digging my feet in here and I am standing my ground against you. You're coming to try to take something from me and I am standing my ground. And I want to encourage you to do that today. Resist the devil. And the way we do that is we submit ourselves to God. We bow the knee to Jesus. We say, you are Lord over it all. And because you're Lord, now I am in a place. I mean, think about that king. If he had just kept striking the ground and had never stopped until the prophet literally put his hand on his arm and said, that's enough. If he had done that, he would have opened himself up through his submission to the entire power, all of the angel armies coming to defend him, to fight his battles for him. And that's what we're called to do. Submit yourself today to God in your finances, in your time, in your talents, in the way that you serve, in the words that you speak. Submit yourself to him. Say, Jesus, you are Lord over this area of my life. I yield it all to you. And when we yield it all to him, he comes in all his power and he helps us resist, stand in opposition, take up our ground against the enemy. And I pray that you'll find that to be true in your life today. I can't wait to see you again next Sunday as we keep going on this series. It's been awesome so far. And y'all, maybe give a shout out to Pastor Bridget today on social media. Tell her she did a great job. And don't forget to wish her and Richard a happy anniversary. Tomorrow, Tuesday, they celebrate 30 years of marriage. That's awesome. Talk about standing your ground, right? Like, what an illustration of the message. Like, there's like, hey, we're married, we're staying married, nothing's going to stop this, right? We're all in. Be that committed today to a God who's that committed to you. Have a great week. We'll see you Wednesday night at prayer.